In this video, I'm gonna tell you guys everything I know about dopamine, so hopefully you'll never have to watch another one of these dopamine videos again, and you'll be able to take care of your own mind, your own dopamine, and able to achieve your goals in a more efficient way. So let's start by getting rid of some common misconceptions about dopamine. A lot of people think it's the molecule of pleasure, but it's actually about the pursuit of pleasure that gives you dopamine. Have you ever really wanted something, or felt like, oh, if I just have this, I'm just gonna feel so great, and then you finally get it and it's good, but it doesn't live up to all the hype that you had in your mind? That's because your dopamine actually increases higher in the pursuit of something than it actually does in the actual attainment of that. So think if you had a cookie and you're thinking about, oh, this cookie is going to be so good, I can't wait to get it. That is your mind releasing dopamine in order to get you to take action towards something that will give you a perceived amount of pleasure. And often we perceive the amount of pleasure that we will get from the cookie to be more than the pleasure that we will actually receive from it. That's why people binge eat junk food, knowing that it's going to make them feel like crap. That's why people pursue relationships or affairs that they know aren't really good for them, but they're just being overridden. Their dopamine system is being overridden by this dopamine and this perceived level of pleasure that they're going to get from something that they don't actually get from it when they attain it. But that's what gets a lot of people stuck in negative and destructive cycles. So you guys, now being knowledgeable and conscious about this, can recognize when your brain is telling you and sending you these signals to get you to do something that isn't really alignment with what you're trying to do. And you can break that cycle just by the conscious willpower of your mind and having the knowledge and awareness of what's happening and what's going on in that moment. I think junk food is the best way you can see this, is when you're oh, that would be so good, I really want this, and then your conscious mind clicks in and you go, oh no, that's just my dopamine telling me that I want something that I really don't want because it's not in alignment with my goals. I don't really need that. And as soon as you're able to break the cycle and say no, it becomes so much easier because you're forming a new pathway in your mind. You're literally making a new connection, rewiring your brain in the way that you want it to go. Now, this is easier said than done. You guys need to increase your level of awareness, and I'd recommend breath work or meditation to increase your level of awareness. Also, just studying yourself, journaling, getting to know yourself and stuff like that, but that's getting off topic. The next thing that you need to know about your dopamine is that you have a baseline. Chances are, if you're watching this video right now, you have a relatively high dopamine baseline. That means you're relatively stimulated. Your dopamine runs at a relatively high level. It takes something very stimulating in order to boost your dopamine up to a higher level to give you satisfaction and motivation and drive to do something. And that can pose a problem. Maybe it's not a problem for you, but it's a problem for some people when their dopamine baseline is so high that they, from constant overstimulation on screens, maybe it's a porn addiction, maybe it's a junk food addiction, maybe it could really be anything, guys. If you're addicted to pleasure, you're not gonna get as much satisfaction from the simpler things in life. You're not gonna find satisfaction in going for a walk, from meditating, from reading a book, from journaling, from having conversations with people, because your dopamine is so jacked up way up here that your brain just literally doesn't have enough dopamine. It doesn't have enough pleasure released from those things for you to even find satisfaction from it. And so it's not your fault if you don't find comfort in going outside, if you don't like talking to people, if you don't like reading. It's because your dopamine's way up here and you need to bring it down in order to get satisfaction from the more simpler things in life, from going out for a walk, from doing things that will help you achieve your goals. And the way that you can do this is by recognizing why your dopamine base level is up here. What are the things that you're doing that are going to give you excess stimulation that keep your levels up here? For a lot of you, it's probably going to be scrolling. Be honest with yourself. If you're spending more than an hour of a day scrolling, you're messing up your baseline levels. If you're watching porn, that is a huge one because it boosts your dopamine levels way up, 200%, and then they crash afterwards, because that's just the way your dopamine system usually works. Is if it goes up high, it's gonna go down low. And so after watching porn, you'll have maybe you have that that picture in your mind. You're like, oh, it's gonna feel so good when I do it, so good, and maybe it does, but then after, you don't have motivation. You're not gonna feel like going outside. You're not gonna feel like having conversations with people you meet, and you're just not gonna feel as motivated in general to achieve your goals, because you're tricking your brain and giving yourself some instant gratification, making it thinking that it's accomplished something when it actually has accomplished nothing. And that is a really big way that our brain and our dopamine system gets hijacked with instant gratification, is giving us the false sense of satisfaction that we are accomplishing something when we're actually not really doing anything. And you see this even online, like potentially with this video right now. You're probably getting a little bit of dopamine, a little bit of sense of satisfaction from this, being like, oh, I'm gonna use this to grow or whatever. But if you don't actually do anything with it, you are just spiking your dopamine levels and continuing in the cycle of instant gratification. And so that's why in this video, you need to change. You don't have to do anything. You can do whatever you want. But I would recommend taking what you learn in this video and applying it to your life, because if you are just taking in information but it's not changing your behavior, then you're not actually learning. That was a really big mindset shift that helped me kind of break out of certain cycles that I was in and watching YouTube videos and whatnot. But when you are able to recognize what things are giving you like overstimulation, boosting your dopamine baseline, you can begin to remove those things. Maybe it's setting a screen time limit for 30 minutes a day. Maybe it's cutting out the porn. Maybe it's cutting out the overstimulating, overprocessed foods that boost your dopamine levels and keep you feeling lazy and sluggish. But once you begin to cut those out, your dopamine level, baseline dopamine decreases. So the threshold or the level of stimulation that you need in order to get pleasure from something lowers. And so then you can find satisfaction in the simpler things, from simply just sitting, enjoying a cup of coffee, from opening up a book, from sparking a conversation with a random stranger at a coffee shop. And this is really life-changing, guys, because once you begin to do this, the world opens up and there are so many more pursuits that you can go down to perceive a sense of fulfillment. And what you'll find is that while they might not be easier than simply going on Instagram and scrolling, they are much more fulfilling, and they give you a sense of lasting happiness and fulfillment, more so than the fleeting sense of like stimulation and dopamine that you get from just engaging online over and over and over and over until your dopamine runs out. And a lot of people like get caught up in this like dopamine detox mentality, like, oh, you just need to take a break from dopamine for a week and reset your system. Yes, that totally helps. That is kind of what I'm getting at with this. But what I'm getting at is that it shouldn't just be a week. You shouldn't just go through a week and think that you're healed and that you can go right back to the things that you were doing before, and that there will be a lasting change, because there won't. Those connections in your brain are too strong. You're more likely to just go back to exactly how you were doing it. What you should strive for is creating a lifestyle around having a low dopamine baseline, because once you align your lifestyle with lower stimulation, more meaningful things, you get a more sense of satisfaction in your life. You end up going out and doing more things, having more experiences, working towards more goals, making more connections with people, and ultimately sharing more love. And that's what this is all about, guys. It's about spreading the love. And I know that's probably getting a little far out for most of you, but it's really true. The more you can get meaningful dopamine in your life, the better your life is going to get. And I hope that's something that all you guys are able to experience at one point in or another. I hope this video is the turning point in your life when you recognize that you can't just keep taking in information. It's just another form of instant gratification. You need to take what you're learning in this video and apply it to your life, because if not, you're not actually learning. You need to change your behavior and align your actions with your intentions and who you actually want to be. That's what this path is all about, guys. It's all about who you become. And so I hope you got some value out of this video. I enjoyed sharing it with you. If you stayed at this point, you're a real one. Probably only like 10% of you actually made it to this point. So if you are, bless you. Please leave a comment down below. Let me know what you guys think. Leave a like, comment, subscribe, do all the things. I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.